Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're doing well. So even with the Switch 2 looming on the horizon, the Switch is still getting a ton of great indie titles, especially ones that you can only find on the eShop. But with the thousands upon thousands of games that are available, or the so-called games, how do you go about filtering through to find the best that are worth your time, but most importantly, your money? Well, sit back, relax, and let's go over 5 of my favorite games that have been released on the eShop recently that I guarantee are every bit worth your time. At number 5, we have Ender Magnolia, the 2025 follow-up to Ender Lilies, developed by AdGlobe and Livewire and published by Binary Haze Interactive, which are also the same devs who worked on the much-beloved JRPG Harvestella. The first thing you'll notice is just how good this game looks, with a beautiful array of dark colors with accents of reds and blues, a Metroidvania in all of the best ways, and even though this particular genre is well saturated, what Ender Magnolia brings to the table is a highly polished, perfectly optimized example of what the genre should strive to be. Taking place years after the events of the first title, you play as a character named Lilac, as you awake from an annoying bout of amnesia. I mean, we've all been there, right? As you begin to piece together your past, you discover that you're called an attuner, a person that has the ability to communicate and fix the homunculi, artificial life forms created for service of the kingdom. These homunculi have been corrupted by the fumes, a toxic that has escaped into the atmosphere, and have since become very aggressive. As an attuner, you're able to bring these homunculi back and then use them as your weapons, with the combat being absolutely fantastic, utilizing short-range weapons including swords and scythes to long-range weapons such as firearms. You'll obtain new weapons and gameplay abilities after defeating the bosses and visiting a respite bench, the save and heal spots located around the map. This is where you can also fast travel to previous visited locations as well. And even though this could just be passed off as another Symphony of the Night knockoff, one of the biggest highlights for me was the immense sense of exploration that Magnolia encourages. With a haunting soundtrack composed by Japanese indie group Millie, the somber piano-based music is the perfect complement as you play through the stark and desolate world and story. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist will take you around 15 hours or so to beat and will cost you $24.99 on the eShop. Next up we have Blade Chimera, Team Ladybug's latest Metroidvania that evokes only the best of the genre, offering some truly incredible looking pixel art with an atmosphere and style that brings dystopian Osaka to life, immersing players in its atmospheric environments. The character designs are also S-tier, offering a futuristic, cyberpunk aesthetic with a nostalgic flair. You play as Shin, a demon hunter who befriends a demon named Lux that manifests itself as a sword. With this, you can restore objects from your memory at key points, such as boxes to stand on or vending machines, to vehicles that you can use as cover. You can also use Lux as a platform in which to stand upon, a barrier that you can use to block enemy attacks, and as a quick double jump against the wall. The coolest thing, however, is that after planting the sword into the ground or wall, the further you go away from it creates tension that when you release can boomerang back, hitting enemies with a ton of force. You'll also of course have your standard melee attacks using swords, whips, etc. that you discover fairly early on, but you'll also have access to a firearm that acts as your ranged attack that regenerates bullets over time. Even though it is a bit weaker, it can still get you out of some tough spots. You'll gain XP and level up from defeating the demons, allowing you to unlock a skill tree, with the first skill being Warp, where you can fast travel to previously discovered locations. I absolutely loved my playthrough. Blade Chimera is another top-notch Metroidvania that takes only the best of what works so well for the classics and blends them with a modern gaming approach that creates a winning combination. Blade Chimera will take you around 8 hours or so to beat and can be purchased on the eShop for $19.99. Laika Ace Through Blood, developed by Brainwash Gang and published by Head Up Games, is what is called a Motorvania. As you can see, a side-scrolling action-adventure, however, you are on a motorbike for the entire playthrough, well, for the most part. You set out in a world called the Wasteland, a post-apocalyptic world inhabited by anthropomorphic animals. The birds, of course, have proclaimed themselves superior and took control hundreds of years ago, which is right up there with how birds would actually do it. I mean, birds are just complete assholes. As Laika, a child from your town has been murdered by the birds, and you go out to take revenge on the killers. Laika Ace Through Blood is Excitebike meets Mad Max in this stark and hyper-violent Motorvania world. Don't let the nice, hand-drawn aesthetic fool you. Even though this game stars anthropomorphic animals, this game is absolutely brutal in subject matter. The controls do take a little to get used to. With you traversing the wasteland on your dirt bike, it takes a bit to learn the basics of how you turn around, stop, and navigate through constant and at times very challenging firefights. But once you get the hang of it, the mechanics gel really well together. You'll also get access to the ability of deflecting and blocking bullets, which acts as a very effective parry technique. The game also offers really good tips and little tutorials on how the game operates, allowing you to be the badass, gun-toting mama coyote that your child deserves. The hand-painted aesthetic really stands out, creating a stark contrast between visuals and the dark, desperate story taking place that follows a mother ultimately trying to keep her daughter safe. With well-written dialogue and visuals laying out the story of revenge as you make your way through this world attempting to shield your child from the horrors of combat. If you are a fan of well-done, narrative-driven action adventures looking for an interesting take on the Metroidvania genre, then pick up Laika Age Through Blood on the eShop for $19.99. It'll take you around 18 hours or so to beat. Antonblast, Summit Sphere's 2024 game, is a high-octane, no-holds-bar 2D action platformer that exudes style, taken straight from Wario Land 4 and the very similar Pizza Tower. In fact, if you've already played through Pizza Tower, you should feel right at home with Antonblast. Taking the roles of Dynamite Anton and Dynamite Annie, you set out to chaotically recover your collection of spirits that were of course stolen by Satan, who just happens to be jealous of you for being a redder shade of red than he. Taking control of either two characters, you recklessly sprint and rampage through stage after stage, taking down Satan's minions with use of several off-the-wall attacks, including your primary attack of Clutch, which is your sprint attack. Pressing a button right before attacking an enemy allows you to do a slingshot, letting you fly and pummel your way through a series of enemies. Pressing the same button while mid-air allows you to bounce off the floor with a ton of force. Looking like a game that could have came right out of the prime Game Boy Advance era, this game features some beautiful graphics and colors used in creating these highly detailed, chaotic, and wonderfully unique environments that you explore from your hub world. As you break your way through each level, you'll activate Happy Hour after reaching the end, in which you must traverse the same level in reverse, much like in Pizza Tower's Pizza Time. This backtracking, however, leads to further exploration of the level, with new alternative routes open, making it anything but tedious. The level design, combat, and gameplay mechanics shows fully the wealth of game development experience this team had while painstakingly creating a platformer that demands skill, quick learning, precise movements, but above all, a ton of fun. Antonblast will take you around 8 hours to beat and will cost you $19.99. A demo is also available for you to try it before you buy. And last up on this list, we have Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter. Oddbug Studios' side-scrolling 2D Souls-like RPG, the much-anticipated follow-up to the first title, Tales of Iron. Taking the role of Arlo, you take on the title of Warden of the Wastes, as you attempt to take down the Darkwings, which, as you will soon find out, is no easy feat. With beautiful hand-drawn style graphics, highly detailed environments, and an excellent array of enemies to take down, the game also boasts some impressive voiceover work, with the story being narrated by Doug Cockle, the same voice actor who brought to life another slightly more well-known medieval character in an action RPG. Yeah, Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. The gameplay is of course heavily influenced by the Souls games, in which you must time your attacks correctly in conjunction with the enemy attacks. With a color-coordinated attack scheme of red meaning that you cannot block, and yellow meaning that you can parry the attack, with you most likely rolling out of the enemy's way, attacking with a ranged attack, and then coming in for a parry and melee attack. You'll also have traps that you can set, as well as magic and buffs that will help out drastically. There are also Monster Hunter influences as well, with you being able to participate in optional side quests for multiple guilds throughout the land, in which you join one of their members in order to hunt down a monster, where you'll obtain materials that you can use to craft particular equipment. All in all, Tales of Iron 2 is fantastically difficult, with beautiful hand-drawn graphics combined with sound design which complements the visuals perfectly, immersing players in the grim tone of the game. Complete with hidden paths, side quests, and wonderful storytelling, reminiscent of Game of Thrones, the game is a beautifully layered side-scrolling action RPG. Tales of Iron 2 will take you around 12 hours to beat and will cost you $24.99 on the eShop. But there you have it, guys. 5 of my favorite recently released games for the Nintendo eShop that are well worth your time. But what do you guys think? What are some eShop games that you would recommend? And have you played any that are on this list? And if so, what do you think about it? Of course, let me know all that in the comments below. And if you would, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It would help out the channel immensely, and I would definitely appreciate it. But most importantly, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you on the next video.